Hello everyone, welcome to Virtual School Physics is Fun. This is Puan Liao here. Okay, now today our lesson is going to be on concave mirror. Alright, so in my previous video, we have already learned what is the meaning of concave mirror. So you should know what is concave mirror before you come to this lesson. Yeah, you must view the previous video on curve. The title is curve mirror before you come to this uh, video. Alright, now we are going to draw image of a concave mirror. So how do we draw image of concave mirror? So first and foremost, we must know the rule of the reflecting ray by concave mirror. All right, so look at this animation here. You see that when this ray is parallel to the principal axis, the incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis, it's reflected towards the focal point. Whereas an incident ray that passes through the focal point, okay, is reflected parallelly. Can you see that? One more time. Okay, so you see these two reflected ray intersect here, and the intersection of the reflected ray is where the image is formed. Okay, now let's reinforce this. In this graphic here, it shows ray 1. All right, ray 1, but I would prefer to call it ray P. Ray P. P stands for parallel, right? So it means the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis. So this ray P is reflected by the concave mirror towards the focal point. Whereas ray 2, which I prefer to call ray F, F stands for focal point, because incident ray passes through the focal point. So if the ray P, or the incident ray that passes through focal point, which I call it ray F, so it is reflected parallelly, right? So ray F is reflected parallel to the principal axis. So in this case, we can see that ray P and ray F, they are actually opposite to one another. Why? Because in ray P, the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, and the reflected ray passes through F. But ray F passes through, the incident ray passes through F, the reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis, right? So they are opposite to one another. And the third ray is what I call ray C. C, remember what is C? C is a center of curvature, right? It's the center of the circle where the concave mirror, which is part of the circle. So a ray that passes through C, which I call it ray C, will be reflected back the same way it comes from. Okay, so the incident ray passes through C, the reflected ray also passes through C. Why is that so? Simply because the incident ray that passes through C will strike the mirror at the normal, right? Normal, which is at 90 degrees to the mirror. Meaning to say the incident angle I will be equals to 0. And from the law of reflection, when I equals to 0, R will be equals to 0, where R is the reflected angle. So R is equals to 0, therefore the reflected ray is towards the same path it comes from. Okay, I equals to 0, R equals to 0. Understand, yeah? Okay, So you see here, ray P, this is ray P, this is ray F, and ray C. Okay, now I break it up into separate diagrams. So ray P passes through F. So we draw a second ray. Now, when we draw this ray, the incident ray must come from the object, right? Because we want to draw the image of the object. So first, the object. So from the tip of an object, we draw ray P. So ray P is reflected towards F. Then from the same point, the tip of the object, we draw ray F. And we know that it is reflected parallelly. All right, so these two reflected rays intersect here. So the intersection of reflected rays is where the image is formed. Therefore, you see the image is formed here. All right, so you see the tip of the object now on the reflected ray, the intersect here. So meaning to say the image is inverted. Right, the object, you see the tip is on top here, the top here, but now at the image, the tip is below. So it is an inverted image. Of course, the base is along the principal axis, so the base of the image is along the principal axis. Now we draw two rays. Two rays is enough for us to draw the image. But if you want to draw the third ray to check their image, your answer, of course, no problem. Okay, so we draw ray C. So it is reflected back the same way it comes from. So you see these three rays intersect at the same point. So where the image is. All right, so we draw two rays is enough to draw the image.